Hey guys, I've been driving this for a while, just like it is. We talked about that. That's probably what I'll keep doing. But I'd never taken the wheels off, and the guy had told me it had disc brakes on it. Well, sure enough, it's got disc brakes, and looks like the pads are like brand new. And it's got those little lockout hubs and everything on it. And I got these to work one day, and then now I can't get them to turn. I know it's got to be in neutral, and there has to be a few other things going on, which I'm not sure if my the deal that puts it into four-wheel drive lock has to be in a certain, like has to be in neutral or something too. But I messed with it one day and I couldn't get them to work, so I don't know. I need to play with it a little bit more. But anyway, that's not really what I just pulled these off to check the brakes, because it doesn't have power brakes. It just has manual disc brakes, and so it's pretty hard to stop. I think maybe if I changed out the lines and put new fluid in and maybe bled the brakes down and did all that, maybe it might make it a little bit easier. I don't know how hard these things were to stop from the get-go anyway, but and maybe a brake booster would help some. But it looks like I caught my I don't know if you can see that. I caught my deal and pushed it up. Yeah, look how bad that rusted out. I guess these are real bad about that. What the heck? A little mud for you, maybe? Dirt? Anyway, so that's been bothering me for a while. You see how that's all pushed in up in there like that? It's all jacked up. I forgot what he said. It looks like a back wheel came off or something and just pushed that whole thing up in there. You remember me redoing this one here for the other side. I hadn't put that back on yet. It actually goes up underneath here, and which is basically that thing right there, if you can see that, being that it's dark. Let me see if I can. Yeah, that deal there. See how it's all tweaked up and bent? So I think what I want to do is just work that back out a little bit. And it looks like it caught up here too. There's a nice little wrinkle. But I may just go ahead and bend all this back out and get it straightened up for now, because like I said, I just don't care for that too much. And I don't think it'd take me more than probably 30 minutes or so to do it, so I think that's probably what I'll do. And the way the light's hitting that, I'd have to see, but I think if I brought it down, it may have looks like it's got a couple other little issues up through here. So anytime that pushes in, that metal goes up like a wave, like I said, so that could actually have a crown way up in there, but I'll have to get it in just the right light to be able to see it. Anyway, probably what I'm gonna do is pull this out here, and I got a porter power. I'm gonna put my porter power in here, push that out, and get this straightened out, and then I'll pull this off here, this trim, and get this all hammer dollied back out straight to where it relaxes. So I'll bring you back when I get something going on. See you. Alright guys, so I used the porter power there, put it up inside here, push this out all through here, and you can see that it pushed it out. It's still pretty crinkled through here, but this is all, those are holes, so there is no sense in me trying to straighten this, because all that's got to be replaced. I really want to cut this channel out of here and look inside there and see what I'm working with, but I don't know if I want to do that right now or not. Like I said, I'm gonna end up making this way more than I wanted. But I did get this back out somewhat straight, and they make this piece, they make just this piece here, comes along here, and it's about 35 or 55 bucks or something like that, which isn't really that bad. You can also get this section, that whole piece, and that whole ass end piece. But now you're talking about welding all this in, which Again, do I want to do that, or do I just want to try to get a skin for it? Because I can get a skin for it, but the skins are pretty expensive, so I don't know. I'm still kicking all this around, but I didn't really mean to get into this too much. But now that I've hit that, I really would like, because if these holes, which I'm almost guaranteeing this rust is up in here, but if I can cut just this channel out along that line, okay, I can probably take this and make a patch piece and actually make it. But well, I say that, I mean, I might as well for 35 or 40 bucks just buy that piece and put in there. But again, that's getting into taking away from the Camaro, which I don't really want to do. So anyway, I'm just kind of kicking this around, trying to get that somewhat straightened back out, because that's been kind of messing with me. And I've done just that. But you can see here, it's rusted. I mean, I could take a pick and poke all the way through that. So, I mean, that's pretty well gone. So, I think I'm going to be better off just to get that patch piece and just fit it back in there and weld it in. And just, you know, move it along somewhere in here or something like that. So I still have this nice curve in there. And yeah, I got lots of rust repair to do on this, but I may straighten that little bracket back out and get it close to this and get it actually painted up and put all that back in there, just for now. But yeah, that's better than it being pushed up like it was anyway. So I mean, it's not a lot better, but it's somewhat better. And I don't have very long in it, you know, maybe an hour or so. And you can see here where it split when I was pulling it back out, but really that's no big deal. I can hammer this back in. More back. Yeah. That's left-handed. That's basically the way that's supposed to be, probably a little bit more. And then this edge needs to come out just a little bit more than that. Then I can tack weld that back together. Let me switch hands. I'm definitely not a left-handed person. There we go. I can wire wheel that. And some tacks back in there. I can actually get to the back side of that too, so not that that's going to matter, because I'm probably going to end up cutting all that out when I get the new piece in. But what I did with that Porta Power, I just put it back here, spread it out till I got it a little bit farther than what I wanted, and then basically I just took my dollar or my hammer and tapped down on all the high spots. This area here that was kind of goofy, went ahead and tapped on that. And just kind of relaxing that metal. This area here is still pretty nice, but yeah, this area here is just rusted out so bad that it's just gonna have to come out of there. So anyway, that'll probably be, like I said, I'll do this little piece here. I may bring you back after I get that straightened out, but other than that, that's probably all I'll do. I got my little girl out here, and my TV took a crap on me, so she don't have any TV. She's just sitting out there, so, or sitting over there, I should say. All right, I got this worked out. I don't know how well that'll show up, but you can see here they're sitting pretty close to the same. I've got them all lined up. The only problem I have is this was split. When it crushed it, it split that in, but I can weld that back shut and sandblast this, paint it like this one, and it'll be good to go. I think this is a $55 or $60 part, so it was worth the time to take to go ahead and beat that out. Plus, every time you do stuff like this, you get a little bit more experience, you get a little bit better at it. So yeah, pretty happy with it. I don't know how else I can set this up to where it shows it, but this was cranked and tweaked and jacked, and it was a pretty good little challenge. But you know how that goes. You can make her work. So there you go. I'm gonna sandblast this. I may set it up, paint it. I got that thing all dirty, just using it as a template for this one. And it's a mirror image just opposite, so it's kind of funky. You had to really look at it and, you know, look at it real close and make sure everything was the way it needed to be. So it took me a little bit, but yep, we're gonna make that bad boy work. All right, guys, there it is. You can see I took the trim off. It's pretty rusty under here, but I think I can clean that up, surface rust type stuff. Got that in, and I've been working on that for a while. I've got these on here simply to hold this in, because when this all smashed in, there's a nut that goes right through here, and it smashed that nut. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, it's built into the panel. Well, it smashed it in, so I'm going to have to pull this back off and push that back out, push that little nut that's in the panel back out a little bit so I can get it started in this. But I'm probably not going to sweat that a whole lot right now, because I'm going to have to pull all that back off, sandblast it, clean it, do all that, but that's going to be another time. But I want to get it back to where, you know, it looked decent. I can clean that up like I did the other one, OSFO it, kill the rust, and etch prime it, and just shoot some black on it like I did the other side. Went ahead and put the other side in. You can see what I did there on the outside. Went ahead and put that side in, and you can see it looks real nice. It fits up good. You can see here, this is the nut I'm talking about that goes in, and it's a nice smooth transition. Well, whatever happened when that got pushed up, it squashed this part right here in, so this nut doesn't want to reach it. So I'm going to have to come in here behind it and move it back out some. But this, another thing I was thinking about is, you can see in here there's a hole all the way through that, so I'm going to have to replace that piece anyway. So I'll probably have to replace that piece on the other side. So it's probably really a non-issue, because I bet that one's probably rusted out just like it, and I didn't think about that. Yeah, it's in pretty shitty shape. And you can see all the rust up inside there. I gotta be honest with you. As much as I love this Blazer, I'd really like to get with the GM engineers and say, guys, what were you exactly thinking on this? Unless, and I could be wrong, maybe these aren't factory. Maybe these little spot welds here are not how they normally intended this to be. Maybe somebody did this after the fact. But you can see there's a little spot weld, little spot weld, little spot weld. Well, that should have all been seam sealed. Because, and on top of that, water can get all up inside here. Well, anytime you can get water up inside all this area, like the new trucks, they put plugs in here. I think I told you guys, on the back side of your panel here, there's plugs. Well, you can pull those plugs out and you can blow all that shit out of there, because that dirt and stuff gets inside between this panel and sits there. And then you get road salt and shit from the snow and all that. Well, that just sits and eats right through any kind of, man, it'll eat through. That road salt is horrible. It'll eat through epoxy, it'll eat through whatever, at least in my experience. And when it gets wet and all that, and then it just sits in there, and then there goes the rust process. But for that just seems, and you know, I mean, I don't know. I wonder, did they even seam seal these areas, or if there's a gasket? Maybe there's a gasket. Looks like there's something was sandwiched between that. Maybe some kind of gasket in there, because I can't imagine, because this thing's rusted really bad, and I'm thinking, I know exactly why it's rusted. Look at that down over there. Look at that bushing. You see that? That thing's gone. But that's why it's, you know, if they'd designed that a little better and you know, at least seam sealed this and they or made it a solid piece or something. I don't know. Like I said, obviously I'm not smart enough to be a freaking GM designer, engineer, whatever, or I'd have been there. But I guarantee you I'd had a little bit, I've been thinking a little different, I think. And again, that's probably why. And don't get me wrong, I love this thing. This is awesome. I mean, whoever thought the body style up was a freaking genius, but whoever come up with these little parts must have been, you know, his apprentice or somebody that was on a, you know, temporary basis or some shit. And this one's the same in here, same little plug spot welds all the way down. Man, water can get up in these seams. Man, that's why we seam seal everything. It's why we seam seal our Camaros, why we seam seal all that stuff. This thing is not seam sealed. Plus, like I said, water can go shoot right up inside there. And this thing, I know for a fact, has been underwater. He's taken it into a lake. So, I don't know. I guess maybe they leave a lot of this open so the water can actually evaporate and get out of there. But, like I said, when dirt and shit gets up in here, it just sits. And that moisture and that, all the other stuff, sand and dirt and everything else starts rusting them areas out. That's it for me tonight, especially on this. I said I wasn't going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I just wanted to get this back out like it is there, which looks tremendously better than it did. So yeah, all I got to do is kind of, I'll probably 180 that down real good, and then I'll spray some Osmo over it, and I'll do the exact same thing I did on the other side. Just spray some rattle can etch primer, and then some that black just spray can paint for now, because I'm going to have to cut all that out anyway. But like I said, I'm not even supposed to be working on this anyway. I say that, I mean, obviously, you know, I can work on what I want to work on, but trying to go ahead and get his stuff done before I get too crazy on this. But yeah, that was bothering me. So looks pretty good. I don't know how it looks in the camera, but it's a lot better than it was. And so, you know, they'll be happy with that. And you, like I said, this stuff's all going to be cut out. So either that or I'll put a whole new bedside on it. Just depends. This thing's jacked. Look at all those rust holes in it. It's definitely a project. But the thing is I don't see many of these around. You can, I mean, literally, I don't know that I've ever seen another one here where I live. Because it would catch my eye, because I've always liked these, and you just don't see them. And maybe they're around, people just don't drive them, I don't know. But yeah, when I ran across this one in a neighborhood, I stopped and talked to the guy, and he didn't want to sell it. And I left him my number and said, hey, you know, let me know. And it was a month or two later, but he finally called. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it. Got a little bit of stuff done, and I appreciate you guys' comments and subscribers and the whole thing. And yeah, I'll be back to Fire Station tomorrow, and that's it. You guys have a good weekend. See ya. Some of the best ones. Well, I got that out. You can see that was supposed to look like that one. Got a little bit goofy there, but tacoed out on them. So yeah, we'll get that straightened out and make it look like that. I got some light in there now. You can see how bad that has been up in there like that. And my trim has been around there too, and you can see that's rusted. So I'll probably end up just cutting that completely out. And I don't think that's the factory screw or bolt for that anyway. I think they're supposed to look more like this little guy right there. So yeah, I'll probably end up having to just grind that thing off. And looks like somebody put a nut maybe back there. I could be wrong about that one, but yeah, that one's already out. So, but anyway, this one's just one of those little, I forgot what those are called, but they're just little cheap they put them on all the old hot rods, the whole molding and stuff on. But yeah. All right, well, I'll bring you back. I just want to show you that we got that out. And this bracket's bent backwards pretty good. Actually looks like it's rusted through. So I may just refabricate a brand new bracket for that. We'll see, but I'm not going to get too involved in this right now. I had it in here and had it up on the lift, and I thought that's been bothering me, so I'll just go ahead and kind of knock that back out and make it look somewhat better than it does. But, all right, guys, I'll bring you back. See you. Alright, now that I've got this somewhat straightened back out to its original form. So I got this somewhat close, and so coming over here, it straightened this back out a little bit, but you can still see this has been pushed in right through here. So it's not going to release the rest of this because it's actually, it pushed it up in here, pushed it up in here. And so until this is worked back out, it's not going to let that relax and come out like it wants to. So the issue is if you can see in here, right here it's nice and da-da-da-da-da, and then right here it takes a hard right. And you can see it pretty much right there, it comes in. Well, that inner panel there, you can see these little tiny welds they put in from the factory. Well, that's a whole separate piece there that they've welded in there. And it's bent in, so it's holding all of this outside metal in. So I'm going to either have to separate this on these few tacks here and then work that back out and then work this back out, or work it out together with a porta power, putting it up in here and pushing across and bending that out, and then working. Once I get that porta power in there and push it out, then I'll come back out here and I'll work out these highs and all this stuff and let this metal relax. You can see right through there. See how that kind of creased and it's starting to roll in right there? Well, that's going to be rolled back out. So this all is supposed to be fairly flat, and then it just takes a hard dive right through there, and then it just tweaks it out. So all that's got to be all pulled back out, straightened back out. They do make, which you can see there's holes all the way through here, so it's rusted through. They make panels. Didn't need that right now. They make panels that you can splice in here. Obviously this one's going to have to be cut out and redone. You're probably thinking, well, why don't he just buy a whole new bedside? Because those bedsides are like $800 for the Blazer. You can buy the C10 pickup truck substantially cheaper, but you have to modify the shit out of them to get them to work. So I may just go with, I think I can buy this little piece here for like 35 bucks, and then this one here for 35 or 40 bucks. So for 80 bucks instead of 800, you know, and this up here is probably pretty solid. Once I pull all this out, I'll be able to see all what I've got going on in there, but I think for the most part that's going to be okay. It's just basically this thing that's giving me the hell, and you can still see how it's just, the whole thing is just pushed in right through there. So until I get that to relax, it's not going to let that come all the way back out. But it sounds like it's 9 o'clock, so I'll probably go in the house. I'll just come out here tinkering just for a little bit, and I'm going to let this truck back down so it doesn't sit up in the air all night. Well, I really like my lift. I don't trust it 100% to leave this thing up all night long, and I can't even imagine if this thing were to actually collapse and fall forward, it'd hit the Camaro, and it's just, man, you talk about ruining your freaking year. That'd be a bad deal. So I'm gonna put that wheel back on. I'm gonna let this back down on the ground so it's sitting safe, and like I said, it's a pretty sturdy, it's an old German noose bomb is what it's called. I put that plastic over it years back because I was thinking, or not years back, but months back, because I was thinking that I was having fisheye problems from this hydraulic oil that runs in it, or actually it's transmission fluid, and I don't think that ended up being the case at all. So I just never did take it back off. But anyway, well, that was good for it. I think it still works. Yep. All right, so yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. I'll probably come back out tomorrow and play with that a little bit, but yeah, it's still pushed in real bad. It's hard to, I don't know if you can see that from here. Let me zoom down. You see how that just really is crushed in pretty hard. Even though I pulled that bottom piece back out and it's not curled up in there, the whole top end of that is still pushed in pretty bad. So maybe a little bit more extensive work than I was wanting to do just out here, thinking it was going to take me 30 minutes to an hour to kind of pull that back out, which I did do on this for the most part, but that's just smashed that whole ass end in. So all right guys, I'll holler at you probably tomorrow. See ya.